காட்டும் மா பிரம்மவத்துவாலன் சிவநிலை தவசற்சீடர் செரிகுருவரன் சிற்கையன் உவகையோருருவன் தன்னுள் உவப்பவன் கழிமூகத்தன் அவனையான் தென்பான்மூர்த்தி அப்பனை ஏத்துவோமே அவனையான் தென்பான்மூர்த்தி அப்பனை ஏத்துவோமே. Now we shall read the Mangala Shloka. தேவன் திருவாயால் தேவி செவி புகட்டும் தேவிகாலோத்தர தேஞான மாவிளைவாம் ஆனந்தவானமுத மானவருள் அத்துவித மோன கரியகமே முன் From 41 we will read. ஆலம்பமெல்லாம் அறவிட்டே அம்மனத்தை ஏல தரிப்பித்து இதயத்தே துலக்கமா எவ்வறிவு தோன்றுமோ அகுது பலக்கவே என்றும் பழகு அப்பரமாம் சூனியத்தை யார் தியானித்தேயோ அபியாச தற்பரராயாவரோ தப்பார் பிறப்பிறப்பில்லாத பெருமையுறும் தானம் உறப்பெறுவரேயவர் என்றோர் தேவரும் தேவியரும் அங்கனமே அந்நியமாம் பாவமரம் உந்தர் பலன்களும் மேபியிடும் ஆசிரய மாசிரய ஞானமுமேயான இவை மாசமோ சாரபந்தமால் தொந்தமென்றாசிரயம் சொல்ல படுமாமத் தொந்தம் விடப்பரம் தோன்றுமே பந்தமில் சீவன் முத்தன் யோகி தேக தியாகத்தால் ஆவன் விதேக முக்தன் அன்று உடலை விராக தொழித்திடுகை புத்தி உடையவரார் செய்ய உணாதே உடலிதனை ஆரம்பித்துள்ள வினை அற்றவுடன் இவ்வுடல் பாரந்தானே அகலும் பார். So yesterday evening we saw ஆலம்பமெல்லாம் அறவிட்டே, without taking any support or giving up all the supports, all the attachments towards the world of objects, emotions and thoughts, அம்மனத்தை ஏல தரிப்பித்து இதயத்தே. One has to keep the mind or place the mind firmly in the heart. then Sala Tulakkamam Evvarivu Tondrumo. That knowledge which shines in the heart without any doubt. Agudu Balakkave Yennum Palagu. You practice so that their experience become more and more stronger within, more and more firm. That is Atma Nishtha. So leaving this, if you do other things like Upasana of a Devata Murtam, or if you get lost only in the karma, all those things will not help you. So what has to be done is, the dvandam has to be given up. The pairs of opposites. Dvandam vida param tondrume. When you give up the dvandam, the pairs of opposites, param tondrume. So the truth is revealed. And that person who has gone beyond dvandvam, he is called as a Jivan Mukta Purusha. And when he drops the mortal coil, he is called as Videha Muktan. And don't ever try to give up the body prematurely, because it is not the right way to do. The intelligent ones will not do that. So when the prarabdha is over, the body will drop by itself. See, till then we should not try to finish it off. But Swamiji, these great Mahatmas, they enter into Jiva Samadhi. Is that not killing oneself? There may be a question. You know, some people like Raghavendra, Swamigal and all, they entered into the Samadhi, like Jnaneshwar Maharaj in Alandi. He just entered at the age of 16, 17, I think 16. He entered and then they closed. Meaning that is a different thing. It is not killing oneself. They, through yoga, abhyasa, bhala, they just leave their mortal coils voluntarily. And they unite with the self and then they drop. That they do. So that is an exception. That is all different. Ordinary person giving up the body is only committing suicide. That should not be tried. Okay. So till this point we have seen now 46th verse. Idaya kamalate ahamuruva mechittu adu nimala nichalame ahum udikkum ahankara nikudalal achitte mutti suhangoduppadendru tuni Idaya kamalate ahamuruvamitchittu adunimala nichalame ahum udikkum ahankara nikudalal achitte mutti suhangoduppadendru tuni. Is it not like we have heard this before? No. So we have studied in the Ullanarpada Anubandham. And it is said there, it is called out from Devikalottaram. You remember? Yeah. After me reminding you, remember. You should just remember straight away. Idaya kamalatte aha uruvam echittu adu nimala nichalame ahum. See, if you really know Tamil, you need no explanation. It is all straightforward. Idaya kamalatte, in the heart lotus. The heart itself is compared as the lotus. Idaya kamalatte aham uruvam, that which shines as I, aham uruvam. Echittu, that pure consciousness, the pure knowledge. Adu nimala nichalame ahum. That is pure, without any taint. Immaculately pure. Why it is pure? Because there is nothing other than itself. That is purity. Nimalam. Nichalame agum. And it is nichalam, still, without any movement, without any chalanam. Nichalame ahum. That is our true self. So as Bhagavan explained in the Hridaya Vidya, not only the Hridayam is the seat of the Atma, the self. Hridayam itself is Atma, the self. Why? Because all the thoughts rise and subside there. That is why it is called Hridayam. This is the center of everything. Hridayam. So therefore, and in the Hridaya Kamalate, there is this Chit Swarupam. That is the pure consciousness which shines as I. Aham, aham. Aham, ahama. Shines as I. That is pure and that is Nichalam. Udikkum ahankara neekudalal achitte mutti sukham koduppadendru thuni. When you remove the ahankara which is rising within you, meaning the ego sense which identifies with the body and says I, that dehabhimani, when that ego sense, ahankaram neekudalal, when you remove that ahankara by merging it with the self or by inquiring its source, then what happens? Achitte mutti koduppa sukham koduppadendru thuni. That chit swarupam, that is the one which liberates you. Mukti sukham koduppadu thuni. Mukti is sukham. Mukti is not different from sukham. Mukti sukham. That which will lead you to the ultimate bliss. That is called as mukti sukham. So there are two selves. One is the real self which is in the lotus heart shining as I. It is I. And that is our true self. Now we take other small self, identify with the body as our own self. That is Jiva Bhava as our own self. So here it is very clearly said, by removing this Jiva Bhava, this ego sense, by through proper inquiry, that ultimate self is realized. And that is Mukti Sukham Koduppadu. That gives you liberation. And that leads you to the ultimate bliss. Thuni. Thuni means what? You please understand, remember. So this shloka from Devikalottaram, exactly it coincides with Bhagavan's teaching. That is why Bhagavan has given an Anubandham. See, Bhagavan has not written this shloka, he has translated only. That is why he has included in the Anubandham. Exactly it coincides with Bhagavan's teaching. So this ahankara which is removed, that gives you the ultimate. See, actually it is all there in our traditional Vedanta Shastra also. See, when Adi Shankara says, if you transcend all the koshas, then you abide there in the self, it means the same. And when he says the identification of the body-mind, that is the source of all trouble, he means the ego sense only. And he says also. So maybe the approach may be a little different. Bhagavan's approach is vichara, of giving attention to the self always. Self means to this aham vritti. Maybe they may be brahmakara vritti and all, That is bhavana pradhanam. This is vichara pradhanam, maybe. But still, whatever they talk is same language, same thing only. So this is the one which really reflects Bhagavan's vichara marga. So it is Parameshwara's walk. Parameshwara has given to Parvati. So you know what? It all affirms Bhagavan's approach. When in the Upagama it is said, when Parameshwara is telling Parvati, it means what? It is all authentic. It is all, perfect. So when Bhagavan, without reading all those things, if he has expressed it, it means he has expressed only that original thing, which is his own experience. So it is so beautiful. Now, Sarva Upadiyum Saradurasit Uruvam Yeduvanduradu Nirandaram Anda Shivamahamen Nanbal Dhyanite Yenda Satyuni Yetru Sarva Upadiyum Saradurasit Uruvam Yeduvanduradu Nirandaram அந்த சிவமகமென் நண்பார் தியானித்தே எந்தவா சக்தியுனி எற்று சர்வ உபாதியும் சாராது உளசித்து உருவம் எது ஒன்றுளது. ஸோ சர்வ உபாதியும் சாராது, without depending on any of these upadis, that is the body and the subtle body or the panchakoshas. They are the upadis, na? That's what we have been seeing all these days. Sarva upadiyum saradu, independent of all these upadis. Uda sittu uruvam, there is this self, this pure consciousness. Sit. Sit means what? That pure knowledge. Edu ondu uladu, it is there now. That one, nirandaram anda sivam aham endru anbal dhyanithe. Nirandaram means what? Without any break. Nirandaram anda sivam aham endru anbal dhyanithe. And the Shivam means what? That auspicious thing, that auspicious self. And the Shivam aham endru. It is my own self. Thus, anbal dhyanithe. With devotion, with great love, you meditate upon. See, Arunachalamena ahame ninaipavar. Arunachala is not in the world outside. Arunachalam ahame ena ninaipavar. It is the self. Ahattai veraruppai Arunachala. So here also same idea. And the Shivam. Shivam means that chitturuvam. Endha upadiyum sarada and the chitturuvam. That which is independent of all the upadis, that is body, mind and all. Anda sitturuvame, anda shivame aham. Endru anbal dhyanit. See, this is very important. Why anbal dhyanit? Even Bhagavan says in that shloka, Aryatitara Sivara Dagavarisa Gugayil Arivairami Paramattuman Arunachalaraman. Parival Ulam Uruha Nala Paranarndiru Guhayand Arivam Vilitiravai Nisam Arivai Adaviriyam. So Parival Ulam Uruha, he says Parival with devotion, with the heart melting with devotion. Ulam Uruha. So there you have to enter into the heart with that kind of a heart, with that kind of emotion, devotion. Otherwise, the mind without devotion is very dry and it will not melt, the ahankara will not go. And the nehilchi illati onnume prayojanam illa. See, that is why people following jnana marga too much, they become very, very different. Those who are following the integrated jnana and bhakti, they become very sweet, very beautiful. That is a different thing actually. The bhakti can never be diverse from jnana. See, people think they are very intelligent and very, jnani purush. I don't believe in this bhakti nonsense and all they say. But where they end up? They end up in mental asylum. Why? Because they don't know how to go about. Too much of thoughts, they don't know what to do about it. When there is bhakti, you are grounded. There is something to hold on. There is something to really offer your ahankara at some altar. So with melting devotion, even to the self, you should have love, na? Then only you can give your attention there. Only when you have love, you can give attention. Only when you give attention, it means there is love. So more and more love, then more and more you want to remain there. So anbal dhyanite, anbal, uruhum anbal, with a melting heart, when you meditate, yenda asattiyum yetru, by meditating thus, yenda asatti means all the attachments, yetru means you go beyond all attachments. You give up all attachments. The attachments can never be given up one by one. Only by abiding the heart, everything will drop off by itself. Patruha patratran patrinai. Appatri patruha patruvidarku. So you have to hold on to that truth so that other untruth will fall off. will drop off by itself. So here Kanagammal in her commentary, she has very clearly pointed out, Anbar Dhyanite is very important. With a melting heart, we have to, when the heart will melt, when you remember somebody who has done so much to you, then your heart melts. Is that not so? The Parameshwara has given everything. The self is the source of all and all bliss. You know, for this jiva who is roasted in the samsara, who is going through dukkha only, for him this bliss is like, something like that. And this unending bliss. Therefore, you develop more and more devotion towards that. Anbal dhyanite. Eppadi dhyanikano? Ananiya bhavame undipara. Ananya means what? Shivam aham endru. That Shivam, that auspicious principle is my own self. Endru anbal dhyanite. If you keep him somewhere away from you as a third person, then that is not real devotion. When you are very devoted to somebody or when you love somebody, you always identify with that person and say, I and that person is one. Is that not so? So, aham, sivam aham ena anbal dhyanite, endha asattiyum niyatru. But this idea is not there in Dvaitic religion. You cannot consider God as my own self. It is blasphemy. How dare you say that? And they will even kill you. Why? You cannot say God as myself. You are a alpa jiva and you can never become God. God is God. All Dvaitic religion talk about that. How can you say you are that? No. That's what Dvaitic religion, Dvaitam only I am saying. It's a blasphemy means what? Apacharam. No, they cannot accept it. So much so that one great saint was killed. This in Islam, one great saint was killed, beheaded, when he said, I am that. And then he said, Anal Haq. Still he was saying, after beheading also, Anal Haq, I am that. That cannot be tolerated. They don't want to bow down to anything else except that Paramatma, that God, whatever they think. But they don't appreciate everything is God. So in our Sanatana Dharma it is said everything is God. Nothing is exempted, everything is included. Everything is God. There is nothing other than God. There is only God. See how exalted our philosophy. There is nothing other than God. There is only God. And you yourself are false. That God is a just name given. It is only the self. Okay, moving on. Desamum sadi mudalam ivatrai sendanavum Masakal varnashrama manninavum Pesume பாவனைகளை அகற்றி பற்றியே தன்னிலையின் பாவனையே என்றும் பழகு தேசமும் சாதி முதலாம் இவற்றை சேர்ந்தனவும் மாசகல்வர் நாசிரம மன்னினவும் பேசுமே பாவனைகளை அகற்றி பற்றியே தன்னிலையின் பாவனையே என்றும் பழகு தேசமும் சாதி முதலாம் இவற்றை சேர்ந்தனவும். Meaning what? We always identify with the nation. I am Bharatiya. I am an Indian first. But as a seeker, you should not identify with anything. When you say Desamum, my country, Sadi, my caste, my creed, Sadi Mudalami Vitra Chendanavum, etc., etc. What comes along with it? Sadi Acharam idu, adu, idu. Mas ahal varnashramam manninavum. Varnashram means what? Once again, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra. Ashram means Brahmachari, Grahasti, Vanaprasthi, Sannyasi. All these things. Pesum I pavanigalayap agatri. So these bhavanas you have to give up. Meaning what? If you are a seeker, now you are seeking the highest. Self. Self is beyond all these things. We have seen already, because of the identification of the body and mind only, all these things crop up. Now, since the body is born in India, Bharata Desha, we say I am a Bharatiya, I am an Indian. If it is, by chance, if it is born in Uganda, then I will say I am a Ugandian. So, it is all where the body is born. The body is not me. See, in the Vyavahara, to identify only with the body, only with the family, only with my own children, it is very selfish. So, to identify with the nation is better actually. Meaning what? You expand. If you identify with your, maybe yes, your prantiyam, state, or your nation, it is good. But as a sincere seeker who is seeking the highest, for him, even this becomes an obstacle. Why? He is always agitated when something goes wrong in the nation. See, in the world outside, always something will go wrong only. Then he is distracted always. Rattam kodikum. Oh, this is happening, that is happening. I should do something about it. Blah, 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 blah. Then how can he seek the highest? For the highest, you have to dive deep within. That is why Bhagavan says, the creator, one who has created, knows his business. He will take care of everything. Nee vanda velai kavani. You focus on for what you have come here. This is Bhagavan's Upadesha. Very clear. No mincing of words. Otherwise there is no end to it. See, always there is going to be this kind of injustice, this kind of etrattal, all those things. Next Janma you will be born in an African nation. Then you say, oh, everybody is suffering because of poverty, ignorance. I am going to help them all. Then that is gone. Then once again somewhere else. And something else will happen. And now, in 2025, if you are born, oh, everything is controlled by machines. And all robots are controlling everybody, the human beings. Now I am going to wage war against all these machines, robots, artificial intelligence. I don't want any artificial intelligence. Only my intelligence will prevail. So like Avatar, you go and fight with what machines which you have created before. So there is no end to it. It's going to happen now. In 100 years, or not even 100 years, in 30, 40 years, everything will be controlled, not even by a human being. Then where will we go? So there is no point in identifying. And my mori, my language, நான் தமிழன், மரத்தமிழன், Tamil, what nonsense Tamil, Hindi, Sanskrit, what is this? Language is there to express your idea, your thoughts, full stop. Okay, each language has got its own beauty, appreciate it. But what is that to become fanatical about it? Hey, ha, ha, ha. You give this sloka to him, Tamil sloka only, no? He will say, what? All nonsense, Whenever you become fanatical about anything, it is nonsense only. And my religion, my madam, my religion, all this thing is nonsense. Sadi mudal, and the caste feeling, I tell you, in India, it's so deep rooted. I don't understand really. Why I don't understand? Okay, according to Guna Dharma, if you say Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, I can appreciate a little bit. Because yes, people are different. But there is so much of jadi, caste in between. I don't know why and how. And those days they say it is occupational. But people so much divide, segregate, and so much ill-treat, abuse. And a seeker should not do all those things. He should not identify with the body. Therefore, he should not identify with all these things. Sadi mudalami vatrai chendanam. Masakal. Masakal means what? Which will purify. That's what he is also saying. Masa ahal. Masa means impurity. Ahal means ahatru vikum, which will remove the impurity. What is that? Varnashram That is there in the society for the smooth running, that is varnashrama. But as a seeker of the truth, you should be beyond that. You should sit above that. You understand? Inside, you should not have all those Veda bhavanas. See, there are things, I tell you. Our worker here, he is not very hygienic. When he goes to the toilet, he will never wash his hands or his feet. I have seen. And if he brings me food, how can I take it? And he doesn't know how to bring food or the water also. He puts his finger also inside. While bringing water, he doesn't know all those things. He puts his finger into it. How can I drink? How can I? So these are all their practical issues. We can educate them definitely. So there are certain things in the Vyavaharik world, okay, but heart of the heart, we should only try to see the same Paramatma in everybody, not to ill-treat anybody or consider somebody as, chumma, he's, niche, niche. That is awkward, horrible attitude. So the seeker should not have all those things. So Masakal Varnashrama Manninavum Pesumi Pavanihalaya Ahatri. One have to give up all these bhavanas. But you know what? If you go to Kashi, there are Dandi Swamis. Have you seen Dandi Swamis? With Dandam they come, with a stick they come. And there are 2-3 people in front of them. Move away, Dandi Swamis. Even we sannyasis, when we go, move away, Dandi Swami is coming. Then I inquire, what is this Dandi Swami? They say, one who is born as Brahmana, when he take up to this sannyasa and holds this Dandi, he is superior in sannyasi order. After becoming sannyasi, what is Brahmana sannyasi? You have to give up all this and then only you have to take up sannyasa. Na? But in sannyasi also I am a superior sannyasi, not ordinary sannyasi. They are all Shudra sannyasis. I am Brahmana sannyasi. What is this sannyasa? I really don't know. See, they can justify any amount, No, he is educated, he is little superior, blah, blah, blah. But others can praise you. But how can you think superior? Then what is this sannyasa then? They say, Danda Swami is coming, move, Danda Swami. He is Danda Swami only. I don't know, this Maya can, work in any ways. Oh Rama. And the priest class, their arrogance, there is no comparison. God. So, in the bhavanigal ellam agatri, patriye tannilayin bhavanaye endrum palagu. So, we giving up all these wrong bhavanas, which are associated with these upadhis, body, mind. Now what? Tannilayin bhavanaye endrum palagu. Tannilayinai patriye. Holding on to oneself, anda bhavanaye endrum palagu. Bhavana means what? I am that Parabrahma Paramatma. I am the pure self. Sivam aham, sonnarle last words. I am that self which is pure and which is beyond all these koshas. Like that you assert your true nature and remain there. Tannilayin bhavanaye endrum palagu. Tannilai means what? Who am I? So, inquiring thus, you always abide in the source. Tannilayin bhavanai. In other words, I am not the Deha. I am the Swarupa. I am Atma. I am Brahma Swarupa. This bhavanai. In the bhavanaye palagu. Why? This bhavana will remove all the negative bhavanas, such as I am the body, and this bhavana also will go ultimately. Like the kadaka nut that purifies the water and it also will settle down. So therefore, tannilayin bhavanaye endrum palagu. So now you meditate on the self alone. In the bhavani da nammala uyartha kudiyadu. It can uplift us. All the other bhavanas will keep us only here, in this field of ego. See, whatsoever we may talk, but how do we live? That is very important. See, we may study Vedanta, all these, Devikalottaram and all, we appreciate, and we even sit and contemplate. But when it comes to Vyavahar, we give up. Meaning what? We have all these ideas, very deep-rooted in us. No. I cannot mingle with him, my God. I cannot do that. As I told you, there are some practical aspects, definitely, I appreciate that. I am not a blind person who says, no. There are some practical, but we stretch it because of our ego sense. Meaning what? We want to always feel we are the superior race. This is there in everybody. Not only in India, everywhere it is there. I am the superior race. I am white. I am British. Where the sun never sets. Then now the sun has set. They are begging everywhere now. After Brexit, they are begging with begging bowl. And one of our Rishi is ruling. He will not identify with India, I suppose. But we only say, oh, our Rishi. He will now want to portray himself to be more British than the British. The converted Christians, they portray themselves more intense Christians, like more Orthodox Christians. Why? That is their insecurity. Fear. So these bhavanas, they will drag you down only. I am this, I am that. You have to rise above. And we have to be very honest, very sincere. Otherwise, there is no point in seeking the truth. Understand? And moving on. See, this 49th verse is a little complicated. Even to read, to split and read, it is really complicated. And the idea is also a little deep. One has to understand in its right sense. ஒருவனா நெற்குரியன் ஓரொருவன் நில்மற்று ஒருவர்க்கில் யானும் உரியன் ஒருவன் எவர்க்குரியன் யானவனை கண்டிலேன் யானெற்கு எவனுரியன் கண்டிலேன் யான் ஒருவன் நான் நெற்குரியன் ஒருவன் நில்மற்று ஒருவர்க்கில் யானும் உரியன் ஒருவன் எவர்க்குரியன் யானவனை கண்டிலேன் யானெற்கு எவனுரியன் கண்டிலேன் யான். See, you have to split it into 3-4 ideas and understand it. First idea is Oruvan Nan. Oruvan Nan. I am that one. Without the second. That non-dual. Self I am. Oruvan Nan. So this is absolute standpoint. Oruvan Nan. As a self, I am non-dual. There is nothing other than the self in me. Oruvan Nan. Then the second idea is, we have to split it carefully here. Oruvan Nan. Yerku Uriyan or Oruvan Il. See, all these words are compressed into the first line. Yerku Uriyan. Oruvan Nan. Then Yerku Uriyan or Oruvan Il. Are you able to see it? At least the Tamil people, are you able to see that?
Yes, sir.
Oruvan Nan. Yerku Uriyan or Oruvan Il. Yerku Uriyan means what? One who belongs to me. No one is there in this world who can be called as one who belongs to me. What is this? Yerku Uriyan. He belongs to me. Or Oruvan Il. Like that, there is nobody in this world. ஐயோ தென் மற்ற ஒருவர்க்கில் ஞானம் முடியன். And moreover, there is nobody is there where I belong to whom I belong to. See, this is absolute standpoint. And this is the wonderful standpoint. In this world, I consider nobody belongs to me. And also, I really feel I belong to nobody. Why? Because I am nobody. See, this idea of becoming nobody is very scary actually. But imagine a person afflicted with leprosy on the road. Nobody for him. Nobody even come near him. He begs and he eats and somehow he survives. And medication, God only knows. So imagine his plight. He feels he is nobody in this world. Is that not so? Absolutely, he feels he is nobody in the world. He can make this statement. Nobody in this world who belong to me. And I cannot say I belong to somebody. Why? Because absolutely I am nobody. See, in Vyavahara, such a pavam, downtrodden, and such a person can say this. But all of us, if you are seekers, we should be able to say this. Why? Because ahankara nasham, becoming nothing, is our motto, na? Somebody belongs to me means what? That idea of mindness. Then it fattens the ego. So, what is the spirit should be? In the self there is nothing actually. In the true self there is nothing. Therefore, one who is seeking the true self should have this bhavana. That actually speaking, nobody belongs to me. Why? Because if I feel somebody is belonging to me, it means the mamata. Mamata means ahamta. And mamata will confuse and agitate you always. Always mamata will agitate. So ahamta and mamata should be given up, na? And also, when I say I belong to somebody, see, a devotee can say this, I belong to Paramatma, or I belong to my Gurunatha, my Guru, all. In a Vyavaharic sense, okay, accepted. But if you feel I belong to someone in this world, what happens? I lose my freedom. In the golden platter, I am offering somebody my freedom. Is that not so? And freedom is bliss, dependence is sorrow. Please understand. Freedom is bliss, dependence is sorrow. And not only that, that is once again ahankara only in another way. When I say I belong to somebody, meaning what? There is dvandva only, that is dvaitva only. That I am there, somebody is there, I belong to somebody, blah, blah, blah. But a seeker should not have these attitudes. So, I am the one. Yamarkum kudiyallom, namanai anjom. And Nayanmara, who is that? Patinathar or somebody. Huh? Bharati illa. வேறு யாரோ ஒருத்தர். நாமார்க்கும் குடியல்லோம் நம்மனே எஞ்சோம் நாயன்மார் யாரோ சொன்னது. பாரதி அப்புறம் அதை சொல்லியிருக்கலாம் திருப்பி. பாரதி சொல்லியிருக்கலாம் அப்புறம் முழிக்கிறாங்க. ஐயோ எப்படி நீ சொல்ல முடியும்? பாரதி சொல்லியிருக்கலாம்ப்பா, பட் அதுக்கு முன்னாடியே சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. நாமார்க்கும் குடியல்லோம் நமனை அஞ்சோம்னு. I will check and tell you. So the thing is what? I don't belong to anybody and nobody belongs to me. This is the attitude of a true seeker. That is why it is said, na guru, na shishyaha. And whenever you belong to somebody, you become bound only. Whenever you belong to some organization, you are bound only. Whenever you belong to some, ideology, you become bound only. Be free of all ideologies, because truth is beyond all thoughts, all ideas. then you can appreciate all ideologies in its own way, in its own respects. But if you identify only one ideology, always you have to oppose all other ideologies. Go beyond all ideologies. Then you know the truth of all the ideologies. You take the good and you leave and ignore the other elements. Why to go on fighting in this world, I tell you? There is no end to it. And nobody wins. Because it is going to be same always. Because it's projection of our own mind. Our own vasanas are only we are seeing. It is not anything else. I am telling you, it is truth. We are seeing our own vasana in the world. Like in the dream, we see our own mind projecting everything because of its vasanas. Similarly, in the waking state, it is our own vasana we are projecting. And we go on fighting. For what? It is all false. Give it up. Totally. And avoid in the self which is peace, which is bliss. So therefore, to claim that I belong to somebody or somebody belongs to me is not the right way of living for a seeker. But you know what? For weak-hearted people, always they need somebody. Like a dog, it wags its tail. It wants somebody to pet it. Then it will say, we are like beggars in the altar of love. Gurudev says, we are beggars in the altar of love. And he says, be a God-like giver. You go and give love, he says. Don't expect love. It is weakness of heart. So therefore, all this idea of somebody belongs to me or I belong to somebody is not very healthy for a seeker. And moreover, from the truth standpoint, the next sentence, what is that? Oruvan ever kuriyan yan avanai kandilen yan. Yerku evanuriyan kandilen yan. Meaning what? He is saying here, ever kuriyan yan. I belong to somebody if I say, I have never seen such a person. Kandilen yan. I have not seen such a person whom I belong to. And if I say somebody belongs to me, I have never seen such a person who belongs to me. I have never seen means what? In the true self, there is no other. So if I am abiding in the true self, or if I am asserting my true self, then this is the statement I can make. I have not seen anybody who belongs to me, or I don't see anybody to whom I belong to. So this is the stand we have to take if we want freedom. What a stand. This is absolute stand. See, in the Vyavahara, yes, we are all interdependent. Yes, the family is there, husband, wife, children, everything is there. And the society is there. Yes, we need some good roads, we need some street lights, we need the system to function. All those things are there in Vyavahara. Please don't confuse Vyavahara with the Paramartha. It is there. But heart of the heart, if you are a seeker, you should remain independent. Like what? There is nobody who belongs to me. When you say somebody belongs to you, then other don't belong to you. Then there is Pakshapada. Similarly, if you say, I belong to somebody, then always there is dependence. And you compromise your freedom. You give up your freedom to somebody else. When you give up your freedom to somebody, whoever that person may be, you have to dance according to their dictates. Then that is suffering only. Remain free. Live according to your heart. Don't compromise on your freedom for anything. Your peace of mind for anything. Swamiji, ரொம்ப arrogant சொல்ல மாட்டாங்களா? Arrogance means what? If you assert your ego, you are arrogant. But this is the real egoless state. Meaning, I don't belong to anybody. And nobody belongs to me. As long as we are pampered, can we feel like this? We are pampered by, say, let us say, our parents, or by our teachers, gurus, when we are pampered, then we always remain, weaklings, dependent on somebody. All the great masters, they say, get lost, don't come to me. After studying, you go and die your own death. Live your life and die your death. Nobody will give accommodation, food and everything. And இங்கே இருமா எல்லாம் நான் உனக்கு செஞ்சு கொடுக்குறேன், நான் உன்னை பார்த்துக்கிறேன், நான் உனக்கு மோட்சம் கொடுக்குறேன். So that person will be remain like a dog. If you remain like a dog, how can you know yourself? You are God, you are not dog. The opposite of DOG is like GOD. So you should become the support of the world. It is not that you should take support from anybody. But the mind always wants some support. Go beyond the mind. Because when you take support, you are bound. You lose your freedom. And dependence is sorrow. This is the fact of living. So, in the Vyavahara, yes, you have to go by the rules of the game. Yes, if you are a husband, if you are a wife, yes, you have to. Like, in Anandamayima, in her life, Anandamayima, a great, great saint. She was a saint by birth, actually, they say. Great saint of our land, Anandamayima. See, even though she was a great saint, enlightened soul, she had so much of following. When her husband was sick, ill, she remained at one place, taking care of him. Meaning, she felt and she said, this is my primary duty. As a wife, I have to take care of him. Other things are secondary, let it wait. But this I have to do. And she did it. That is what I read. Her story, so beautiful. Like that, the great saints also, they are very, very, very compassionate. So when it comes to that kind of a situation, they do it. But if sometimes somebody is blackmailing or cornering, then they say, go to hell. See, we should not allow anybody to blackmail us. We should not allow anybody to use us as a doormat. See, this is all weakness of mind, See, Gurudev says there are two kinds of people in the name of love. One is always masochist. And one is, what he says? I forgot. One who is very, very weak. Always want to be dominated. Some word he uses. Sadist and masochist. Correct. Oh, I forgot the exact terminologies. The sadist one who wants to dominate always. He doesn't care for others' emotion. The other person who wants to be dominated. Because they fear of losing the love. They want love. So sadist cannot live without the other person. The weak person. The weak person cannot live with the dominating person. Yeah, I tell you. Because there's a fear of losing the love. So பரவாயில்ல என்ன வேணா செஞ்சு தொலைஞ்சிட்டு போ, நான் உனக்கு அடிமையாவே இருந்துட்டு போறேன், ஆனா அன்பு மாத்திரம் எனக்கு கொடுத்து தொலை, because I want love. This is all, And others thrive only by dominating. They are also very scared of losing love. They want somebody to always be there and to தலையாட்டே இருக்கணும் பக்கத்துல யாரா இருந்து. So it's all dependence. The dominating fellow also is dependent. So everybody is dependent means you are bound. Bound means dukkham, sorrow only. So it is very hard to balance between the vyavahara, if you are a married person, let us say if your family and everything, to balance that and also to take this standpoint. Imagine if you suddenly take this standpoint, nobody belongs to me. Wife comes in front of you, nobody belongs to me, go to hell. I don't belong to you, then whom do you belong to? I was suspecting all this. Whom do you belong to? I don't belong to anybody. And nobody belongs to me. ஐயோ சன்னியாசி ஆக போறீங்களா? அதனால முடியவே முடியாது. Then I am a seeker now. What seeker now? So this you should not explicitly exhibit like this. Then people will be confused. You should have everything in your heart. But outside you should talk dialogues. ஒன்னே மாதிரி யாருமே இல்லாம இந்த உலகம். நீ இல்லாம நான் இல்லவே இல்லை. 7 ஜென்மத்துக்கும் நீ தான் எனக்கு மனைவியாக வரணும், நான் கஷ்டப்படணும் 7 ஜென்மத்துக்கும். Like that, you talk dialogue, but then only good food. See, experience talks. But that Amma knows your heart. She will see through you, because how many years she has lived with you. Vilayadu Veera, like that. So this is a very important words. I really always appreciate these words. Whether I live these words or not, I don't know, but I appreciate these words. That is time. Okay. So therefore, a seeker should assert his independence. Say, I am free. Swatantran. I am Swatantran. I don't belong to anybody. If somebody is trying to sort of captivate me, I will not allow it to happen. I am myself. Or I don't feel I belong to somebody. I will not give up my freedom to anybody. I remain as my own self. I live my life, I die my death. This is how you have to live. But in the world, if somebody loves, you have to gracefully accept it. If somebody needs help, you should gracefully extend it. But heart of the heart, you should not become bound by anything. That is the idea expressed here. Because in the self, there is nothing other than the self. If you want to remain as a self, this is the stand you have to take as a seeker. What a beautiful words. But you know what? With the old age, people tend to become dependent. They lose their confidence. See, physically, yes, you have to take some help, but there you have to remain free only. And they become very dependent. நான் என்ன செய்வேன், ஒன்றுமே முடியலை. So, you depend on your son or whoever, your guardian or whoever, you depend. And then you lose yourself. Heart of the heart, you should not lose yourself. It is not arrogance, but it is freedom. It is asserting oneself. See, there is a subtle difference between arrogance, ego, and this standpoint. This standpoint is actually going beyond ego only. Because always ego means what? It wants somebody as mine, somebody as not mine. That is ego. But here it's going beyond. Which line? Last line? See, I will tell you. எவர்க்குரியன் ஒருவன் இயற்கு உரியன் யான் அவனை கண்டிலேன் யான். It is over now. And then the last word is எற்கு. எற்கு எவன் உரியன் கண்டிலேன் யான். See the third sentence, last word. Yan erku is there now. Yan erku is there in the fourth line. Ka is there in the fourth line. So erku evan uriyan kandilen yan. Erku evan uriyan. Who belongs to me? I have not seen him. Erku evan uriyan. Erku is a very technical Tamil word. நம்மலாம் யூஸ் பண்ணதே இல்லை. எர்க்குன்னு எர்க்கு எவன் உரியன், எனக்கு யார் உரியவன், கண்டிலேன் யான். I have not seen anybody who belongs to me. See, this Kanagammal has given beautiful word by word meaning. She has split everything. See, you buy a book, see, it will be very useful. In Ramanashramam, volume 1, volume 2, Shri Ramana Nurtirattu Urai, volume 1, volume 2, Kanagammal has done a good job. She has split beautifully everything and given word by word meaning, like a laddu it is. You just eat and be happy. And she has put in a lot of effort, Pavam. And she has taken personal tuition from Muruganar Swami. Not only her, few people, few devotees have listened all the scripture of Bhagavan from Muruganar Swami. So that she has taken notes, it seems. And from the notes she has given this commentary. It is very authentic. And especially Akshara Manamalai. Muruganar Swami has commented on it. So if you compare Aksharamannamali, Murugan's commentary and Amma's commentary, it's so identical. He goes very technical and high-flown Tamil. Her Tamil is very ordinary for us to understand, very simple. But all those essence she has captured. So beautiful. She has done an exemplary job actually. Hats off to that lady. I have seen her. A very simple person, a simple devotee. But she is very knowledgeable. See, if you read her commentary, she is very knowledgeable, and also maybe she is realized, who knows? We don't know actually. Maybe she is enlightened also. See, we don't want to accept anybody as enlightened, but there are people who are enlightened. Please understand, in Bhagavan's circle, there are very many people who are enlightened. Yeah. Moving on to the 50th verse. Nane Parabrahman Nadanula Hukkisan Nanavin Nichaya Marburudan Nanenan Muttana Mandri Muran Vadil Selpurudan Bettanan Endrum Nipen Nane Parabrahman Nadan Ulahukkisan Nanavin Nichaya Marburudan Nanenan Muttana Mandri Muran Vadil Selpurudan Bettana Mendrini Pain Nane Parabrahmam Aham Brahmasmi. So here the seeker is asserting himself as I am the true self, I am the Brahma Swarupam. See, whenever Brahma Swarupam is talked about, it is that consciousness which is pervading this universe. Whenever Atma is spoken about, that consciousness which is pervading this body-mind. But the fact is, the Brahman is Atma, the self. Brahma Atma Aikya Bodha. Tattvamasi. You understand? From the essence standpoint, the Brahman or the Atma is same only. So, Nane Brahman means what? I am the substratum of the universe. In me, everything appears, everything disappears. I am the substratum. I am the source of all. That is what it means. Nane Parabrahmam. Nadan. Did you know Nadan? Nadan means I am in fact the Swarupam of my Guru Maharaj also. That is how Amma has interpreted. Nadan means Guru Nadan. Guru Nadan means from the self standpoint, there is no difference between me and my Guru Nadan. That is what is expressed. Nane Nadan. See, Hanumanji expresses this idea beautifully in Ramayana, and Gurudev brings it out. I don't know what it is said in Sanskrit, but in English it is expressed this way. I don't think Hanumanji would have spoken in English, but when Gurudev expresses it, he expresses this way. As a body, I am thy servant. As a jiva, I am part of thee. As Atman the self, I am thyself. This is my firm conviction. See, Anjaneya, when he meets Rama, he says this. As a body, I am thy servant. In the Vyavahara, from the body standpoint, if I am Hanuman, then I am your devotee. I am your servant. As a jiva, from the jiva bhava, if you say, you are the whole, I am part. That is Vishishtadvaita. But as a self, I am thyself. So what Bhagavan is saying, Bhagavan Shri Ramana Maharshi, what is he saying? He is saying, I am not this body-mind. I am beyond. I am the pure self. If you know me as I know myself, then alone you truly know me. This is his statement. When you know me as I know myself, then only you truly know me. So, how he knows himself as the true self? Then how we should know him not as a body-mind, as the true self? The self is one. The self is one only, na? So when we know ourselves, we know our Guru. Otherwise we don't know our Guru. We only see the expression. We do not know the real Guru. The real Guru is the self. So in that standpoint, he is saying Nadan, meaning I am the Guru Nadan, mean essentially as the self, myself and my Guru Nadan are one and the same. As the self. Easan. Ulahukku Easan. So I am the Parameshwara means what? Essentially Parameshwara and I are one only. As the self. So this is how we have to assert. Ana in Nichaya Marburudan. Ana means Ennum. Ennum means like this. Ana in Nichaya Marburudan. One who has got this firm conviction that I am the Parabrahma Paramatma. In fact, Guru and me are one only. My Gurunadan and I are not different, are one only. And the Ishan and myself are not different, one only. Ishwaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namah. In the Dhyana Shlokam of Dakshinamurti, it is said very clearly. Sureshwaracharya has explained it beautifully. Ishwaraha Guru Atma iti. The Ishwara, Guru and the Atma, they are one only. Murti Bheda Vibhagine, maybe the form may be different, but the essence, Vyomavat, as the space, the self. So the same self is Gurunathan, the same self is Parameshwaran. So the Paramatma, the self, the Gurunathan, my Guru, the Ishwara, the Lord, they are one and the same. It is said in our scriptures, when the student is very ripe, Ishwara himself comes as Gurunathan to teach. When he identifies with the body, Gurunathan comes in the world outside to teach him that you are not the body. You ask, who am I? And dive deep within. Once that is accomplished, he disappears, and then from the self, from the heart, he pulls the seeker. With his magnetic spiritual power, he pulls and he takes him into himself. So here it is said, I am the Brahman, I am the Gurunathan, I am the Ishan, Ulahuk Ishan. So, in Nichaya Marburudan, Nane Nan Muttanam, Tane Nan Muttanam, Marburudan, Tane Nan Muttanam. One who has got this firm conviction, that Mahapurudan. Mahapurudan means that Mahapurushan. He is Muttanam. Tane Nan Muttanam. He is the Muktan. He is a Jnani. He is liberated. Andri Muran Vadiyil Selburudan Bettanam. Muran Vadi means what? If he goes in some other path, tangent to this, then he is Bettanam. Bettan means one is bound. Muttan opposite Bettan. Muttan means one who is free. Bettan means one who is bound. So one who has got this firm conviction that there is only self. What about Gurunathan? He is also the self only. What about Parameshwaran? He is also the self only. There is nothing other than the self. If one has got this firm conviction, then he is Muttan. Muktan. In Tamil it says Muttan. Muktan. He is free. He is liberated. அப்படி இல்லாமல் முரண் வழியில் செல்புருடன், when he goes tangent to this path or some other path if he goes, then he is Bettanam, he is bound only. என்று நீ pain. Understand this way. But as Adi Shankara has beautifully pointed out, and Bhagavan has translated into Tamil in the Anubandham, you can practice this Advaita with anybody in the world, but not with your Guru. Mu ulahukkum ahum, but not with the Guru. So, though it is a truth that essentially I and my Guru are one, in the Vyavahara, if he comes in front of you, you should always be humble and sit at his feet, not equivalent in the chair, call at it. Now you tell whatever you want to tell. You tell whatever you want to tell. See, in our tradition, this Guru Parampara is very beautiful. However great the Guru may be, when his Guru comes, he is always humble. It's our tradition actually. That is how it should be. then the others also are watching. Everybody, see, the Shrestha Purushas, whatever they do, the others follow. Yadyad acharati Shrestha. So the leaders in the society, whatever they do, they become role models. So everybody follow. So this guru, if he is real guru, if his guru comes, he should really be humble and down. You understand? That is the tradition actually. See, I have gone to Hawaii. There is one Swami Ramana Swami, American. But oh my God, if you go and look at them, they are more Shaivites than the Shaivites. And very knowledgeable people and very sincere. So if their Madhadipati comes, they don't sit, they stand always. Even the senior monks, when the Madhadipati comes, they stand always. They show that kind of a respect. It's a part of the tradition. Even in our Madhas also, Madhadipati comes, people respect so much. Like that is a sort of a tradition. So that has to be maintained in the Vyavahara. But the seeker, he doesn't have any sort of a misconception that my guru is somebody. If you think guru is somebody, then you are defeating the guru's teaching. He is saying, I'm your own self. I am the self, that is one. Kshetrajñam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. I am the one knower in all the bodies. So I am one self. Meaning, myself also is Gurunada's self only. So this nishchayam, this conviction who has got, he is muttan, he is free. See, I can give up everything. How can I give up the form of my guru? I cannot give up my form of my guru. No. Everything. Everything. So you have got respect and love for guru, but doesn't mean when it comes to tattva vichara, you should be very sentimental. When it comes to tattva vichara, you should be ruthless and you should only talk about the facts. What is that? The self is one. And that is universal. And that same self is my Gurunadan, the same self is me, the same self is Parameshwara, the same self is you, everybody. No, I don't feel like that. When it comes to Gurunadan, he is one step ahead. He is some supreme self. I am self, he is supreme self. No. Even the true Gurunadan will not accept this. He says self is one. There is no one self and one supreme self. Self is one. This is the conviction. Then he is Muktan. Muran vadiyil sel burdanam, burdan battan. One who goes against this principle in some other path, he is baddhan, bound only. If one takes that God is somebody else, Gurunadan is somebody else, I am somebody else, then there is bondage only. Why? He is always in the field of Triputi, field of Dvandva. So there is always bondage only. So that is how we have to live. So this Devikalottaram is very exciting and very high flown and very revealing. So each text is different. See, Bhagavan's text like Ulladinarpada Anubandham and all is something else. When it comes to this Devikalottaram, it is something else. And Atma Bodham, very scientific. And Bhagavad Gita Saram, it's wonderful. So whatever Bhagavan has touched, it has become gold. Whatever Bhagavan has touched, it has become gold. That is Bhagavan. Om Purnamadha Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shantihi Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. See, yesterday I was telling Anveshi